The movies sold you a beautiful lie. You know the one. Hero takes a bullet, grits their teeth, pours whiskey on the wound, and keeps fighting. Maybe they dig it out with a knife while staring intensely into the camera. Roll credits. What they don't show you is the part where that same hero dies 3 days later from sepsis because they treated a gunshot wound like a splinter. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. When civilization collapses and someone puts a hole in you, there's no dramatic music. No slow-motion stumble into the sunset. Just you, bleeding like a broken faucet, realizing that everything you learned about trauma care came from people who think defibrillators restart stopped hearts. Spoiler alert, they don't. The reality is uglier than any movie dared to show you. Bullet wounds don't seal themselves with determination and a good attitude. They leak. They get infected. They turn you into a walking biology experiment where bacteria compete to see who can kill you first. And the worst part? The actual treatment looks nothing like the Hollywood version. It's not heroic. It's not pretty. It's basically advanced janitorial work performed on a human body. I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't this be about finding a doctor or getting to a hospital? That's adorable. In a world where the grid is down and society has taken a permanent vacation, hospitals are either rubble or controlled by people with more bullets than medical degrees. The nearest qualified surgeon might be 1,000 miles away, assuming they're still breathing. You are the medical team now. You, whatever supplies you can scavenge, and your suddenly very motivated interest in not becoming fertilizer. But here's where it gets interesting. While everyone else is panicking about their tactical gear and wondering if their knife is sharp enough, the real survivors are learning the most boring skill imaginable. Basic wound management. Not the sexy stuff. The tedious, repetitive, absolutely critical maintenance that keeps your meat suit operational when the world stops caring whether you live or die. This isn't about becoming a battlefield medic. This is about becoming a maintenance worker for your own circulatory system. Think of yourself as a glorified plumber dealing with a very specific type of leak. The pipe is your blood vessel. The leak is the hole someone just put in you. Your job is to stop the leak before the system runs dry, and before you start fantasizing about your dramatic moment of self-surgery. Let me crush that dream right now. You're probably not removing the bullet. You know why? Because digging around inside a fresh wound with improvised tools is how you turn a manageable injury into a fatal one. The bullet isn't the problem anymore. The bleeding is the problem. The infection that follows is the problem. The shock that shuts down your organs is the problem. The bullet is just sitting there, probably doing less damage than your amateur surgery would. Here's the chain reaction nobody explains. A bullet creates tissue damage. Tissue damage causes bleeding. Uncontrolled bleeding leads to shock. Shock makes your brain stop working properly. Poor decisions accelerate your transition from person to corpse. Each step in this sequence happens faster than you think, and each mistake compounds the last one. The good news, if you can call it that, is that your body already knows what to do. Blood clots naturally. Wounds try to heal themselves. Your cardiovascular system has built-in redundancies. You're not fighting biology, you're supporting it. You're giving your body the best possible conditions to save itself while you try not to die of your own ignorance. But supporting biology requires knowledge. Real knowledge. Not the Hollywood version where personality and grit overcome physics. The boring kind of knowledge that explains why pressure stops bleeding and why clean water matters more than attitude. The kind of knowledge that weighs nothing, can't be stolen, and works whether you're in a bunker or a basement. Because here's what the movies never told you. When the world ends and someone shoots you, the person most likely to save your life isn't a hero. It's you, armed with information, basic supplies, and the crushing realization that survival isn't cinematic. It's just advanced maintenance performed under the worst possible circumstances. So you've accepted that you're now a part-time surgeon working with a first aid kit that expired during the Clinton administration. Congratulations. But stopping the bleeding was just the opening act. Now comes the real performance, and it's about as exciting as watching paint dry on a corpse. Let's talk about what happens next, because this is where most people discover that survival medicine is less ER drama and more custodial work performed on human tissue. You've plugged the hole. You've bought yourself some time. Now you need to keep that hole from becoming a gateway for every microscopic invader within a 50-mile radius. Pain management. This is the part where Hollywood would have you popping pills like candy, or biting down on a leather belt while someone cauterizes your wound with a red-hot knife. Reality check. You don't have morphine, you don't have a convenient piece of leather, and cauterizing a gunshot wound with a hot blade is how you turn manageable tissue damage into a third-degree burn with a side of infection. What you have is whatever over-the-counter medication you can scrounge. Ibuprofen if you're lucky. Aspirin if you're not. Maybe some acetaminophen that's been rattling around in a medicine cabinet since Y2K was a thing people worried about. Here's the brutal math. Take what you can find, follow the dosage on the bottle, and accept that you're going to hurt anyway. Pain is information. It's your body's way of telling you something is wrong. Numbing it completely just makes you stupid. But here's where it gets interesting. Pain management isn't just about pills. It's about position. Elevation reduces swelling. Swelling increases pain. Find a way to keep the wounded area higher than your heart if possible. Gravity becomes your unpaid assistant, pulling excess fluid away from damaged tissue. Temperature control. Your body is trying to heal itself, but it needs the right environment. Too hot and bacteria multiply like they're at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Too cold and your immune system slows down like a government worker on a Friday afternoon. You want consistent, moderate warmth. Not fever heat, not hypothermic cold, just steady, boring, room temperature maintenance. Food becomes medicine now. Your body is performing emergency construction work, and it needs raw materials. Protein for tissue repair, vitamin C for collagen synthesis, iron to replace what you leaked onto the floor. But here's the catch. Your digestive system might be in shock too. Start small, clear liquids first, broth if you have it, water with a pinch of salt and sugar if you don't. Work your way up to actual food as your system remembers how to function. Sleep is where the real healing happens. Not the Hollywood version where you pass out dramatically and wake up fully healed. Real sleep. Deep, restorative, boring sleep where your body redirects energy from staying conscious to repairing the damage. But sleeping with a fresh wound requires planning. You need to position yourself so you don't roll onto the injury. You need to stay warm enough that your circulation keeps working, but not so warm that you sweat through your dressings. Hydration becomes critical math. You've lost blood. Blood is mostly water. Your kidneys are working overtime processing the cellular debris from damaged tissue. Your immune system is manufacturing antibodies and white blood cells like a factory running double shifts. All of this requires water, not coffee, not alcohol, not energy drinks. Plain, clean water consumed in small, regular amounts. Here's the chain reaction nobody mentions. Dehydration slows healing. Slow healing extends recovery time. Extended recovery time increases infection risk. Infection kills more gunshot victims than the actual bullet. So you drink water like it's your job, because right now it literally is. Monitoring becomes your new hobby. Check the wound site every few hours. Look for signs of infection. Increased redness spreading beyond the wound edges. Red streaks tracking up your arm or leg like bloody lightning. Pus that smells like death warmed over. Fever that makes you shiver while sweating. Any of these symptoms means the bacteria are winning and you're running out of time. The dressing changes are where you earn your stripes as a battlefield janitor. Remove the old gauze slowly. Document what you see. Clean the wound again. Repack it with fresh materials. Secure the new dressing. Repeat every 8 to 12 hours until it starts looking less like a crime scene and more like healing tissue. Recovery isn't a movie montage. It's weeks of tedious maintenance performed by someone who learned medicine from YouTube videos and desperation. So there you have it. The complete opposite of everything Hollywood taught you about bullet wounds. No dramatic one-liners, no miraculous recoveries. Just weeks of playing janitor to your own damaged plumbing while hoping the bacteria don't organize a hostile takeover. You learned that pressure beats personality. That clean water trumps tough guy attitude. That boring maintenance work keeps you breathing while everyone else is busy dying cinematically. The hero's journey, it turns out, is mostly about changing bloody bandages and drinking enough water to keep your kidneys from staging a walkout. Here's the beautiful irony. While other people are stockpiling tactical gear and practicing their intimidating stare, you now possess something infinitely more valuable. Knowledge that weighs absolutely nothing. Skills that can't rust, break, or get stolen by the guy with the bigger gun. Information that works whether you're hiding in a bunker or bleeding in a basement. The movies sold you action and adventure. Reality delivered tedious maintenance and the crushing realization that survival looks exactly like the most boring job you've ever had. But boring keeps you alive. Boring gets you through the night. Boring means you wake up tomorrow instead of becoming an educational example for the next person who thought whiskey and willpower could outsmart basic biology. Congratulations, you're now qualified to be the least dramatic trauma surgeon in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Your patients won't applaud, but they might actually survive.